You know, I've been on the house tour, and I think I'm going to do that this August. People always wonder, what's with the mannequins? I think it's like sculpture.
I ain't got much for pockets, these pants are too tight.
My name is Dean Bogg, and this is episode 5 of Neighborhoods. If you're new to the show, it works like this. Every week I pick a different Pittsburgh neighborhood to explore, and I bring you along for the ride. Each episode contains my opinions. Interviews from local residents. Jim, it's good to be here with you. I'm sorry the other guy didn't work out. No, you're supposed to be playing a local resident. Am I gonna be on the news? And a ranking scale that comes directly out of my anus. Whoop.
It's peaceful when I'm down here because I go to school, but like the community's good. Like there's not, like, as you can look around, there's not that much trash on the floor. Like we got, I don't know, it's just a good community.
Come down here, like come be with us for a day, see how it is down here. We'll show you around, stuff like that. Yeah.
All right. What are you giggling at?
He's a goofball now.
He's just laughing.
There's a couple around here. Yeah, everybody get along. Like
it's nothing really racial about, like, we don't really fight to white people or anything. The cops don't really be down here. It's just they come down if there's
come
like.
every once in a while. Check.
I mean, we go to school with white kids, so it's not.
Yeah, it's not really a big deal about it.
Y'all gotta get out.
Wait, who's sister and brother?
Y'all gotta get out, okay?
You two are sister and brother?
This is the game right here, y'all.
Just like us three, we real close to each other. We tell
We
each other
family, right?
everything.
We be down here every day. We go to school down here.
Yeah.
Be popping.
Yeah.
When we get down here,
Yeah, you already
play
know,
basketball
like,
right
nobody
there.
can't, you feel me? Nobody can beat us in
we
basketball.
play
just like
in the
that.
school. We play for the school. We just try to stay active. We don't want to be gang related. We be out there thugging. 4K Trey. You know what I mean?
Undefeated. The boys team and the girls
Slime.
team about to be undefeated, and that's on period too.
Woo!
If aliens came down to Earth and you wanted to give them a quick walking tour of American architecture, I think Manchester would be a pretty good place to do it. In terms of both style and decade, which often go hand in hand in architecture, Manchester buildings are all over the place. You have a house built in the 1860s, a house built in the 1880s maybe, and a house built in the 1970s. To the west, Manchester is bordered by Route 65, historic Allegheny West to the east, the North Shore to the south, and a rail yard to the north. Manchester itself does not contain any substantial parks, but due to its proximity to West Park, it receives a 1 on the park scale.
Well, we've been working on the house for about a year now, but we've just lived in it for maybe a month at this point. We gutted her completely down to the studs. She hadn't been lived in for 15, 20, 30 years maybe. You know, if I give any advice to my children, you should buy a home when you're young like that, because that house is what enabled us to then do this size project. The return was so good because I invested while I was young and in a neighborhood that wasn't quite discovered yet. I guess comparatively, and why we chose Manchester to move our family here, it's got like a quiet elegance about it, and you know, you've got good neighbors, but you also have some space to breathe. People aren't on top of one another. Yeah, and I think if you're in Manchester, you appreciate preserving this kind of thing. So
we consider ourselves different because we got our own zip code, like compared to the whole north side. Like we call ourselves Riverside more than north side.
So people in Manchester don't consider themselves part of the rest of the north side?
Yeah, but we are, though. If you was to talk to the city, we are part of the north side. But like Pearl is a black neighborhood, and then like, you know, when we moved up here, they moved out. The back streets we used to be like these little alleyways. The black people used to live on these alleyways.
Okay.
But like eventually they moved out. These houses just now is getting back to where they used to be. But half of these houses used to be abandoned. Like this used to be abandoned. It's gentrifying, but I mean, it's for the better for real. Like, cause it's starting to redevelop all the houses. The only thing is the rent. Like, they trying to charge more for rent.
Been here 25 years. Friend invited me to a party one street over, and they said, there's two guys one street over selling a house. There's no sign. You got to go look at it. I said, man, I've been living rent-free at Shadyside Academy for 20 years. I don't want a house. I went over anyway, walked in the door, fell in love with this house. It was done.
Thank you so
Good
much.
luck to
Tom, you said?
Yeah.
All right.
You want to come see my house?
Yeah, what's the address? Be over in about 45.
I'll be there.
There you are. Howdy.
You know, the neighborhood is not charming. The house is charming. The neighborhood is convenient and friendly. I mean, I can walk to both stadiums.
Aha, you can walk to a Pirates game. That's nice.
And the Steelers if I can afford it. Most of the stuff in here is my doing. And so even though I do have a feminine side, and I think that's coming through in the mannequins. Whatever. I found her in the Goodwill on Carson. I thought she was real. She was standing behind the counter back there.
Yeah.
And I was looking around a little, and I looked again, and she was still there in the same position. So my wife and I carried her out.
Definitely a little spooky. Also spooky positioning, because it kind of catches your eye at the top of the stairs, and you go, wait, what's that?
That's a good boy.
Wow.
He's got a lot of pin feathers back there that are itchy, and he loves me to rub them.
This is a great bedroom.
Yeah, and that works. I don't use it, but the fireplace works. These houses.
You could burn wood in that?
Mm-hmm.
You're crazy for not using that thing.
Well, I don't like.
I always think that we're the lucky ones because we get to look at their houses, or the beautiful architecture of their houses, and they have to look over here at the row houses. But it is, yeah, that's one of the things that has always drawn me to this street in particular is there's no like cookie cutter to it at all. It kind of makes me wonder about the history of the street, you know, whether this was servants' quarters at one point or what was going on here. You know?
Yeah. No, not at all.
This is my wife, Kaylee.
Hi, Kaylee. Do you have a favorite thing about living in Manchester?
I like all the people who have like lived here their whole lives. I think that's pretty neat. This is their community that like we've been welcomed into, which I really value.
You got some schmutz on you there.
Yeah, a little bit. Got into some cinnamon apples, I think so. Did you say hi to Dean?
When I first moved here, it was a lot of drug trafficking and kids hanging out and whatever, but now it's so beautiful. It's nice. I think a lot of people coming in buying these homes now, Like the guy across the street, he bought his home, and people around here buying up these homes, and they're not going to have that around here anymore. I don't think they're going to put up with it anymore. It's changed. It has changed. I love being here. I mean, and a lot of people know me, recognize me from doing the gardens and stuff. I don't even know them. They just ride past. And I don't know. I just like Manchester. I love Manchester. I've become to really care about this place.
You seem to be enjoying these as much as I enjoy making them. I would be a fool to stop at 5. I am 100% going to do at least 5 more. The issue is that I'm not in Pittsburgh every week. For instance, this week I'm going home to see my mom and some friends. I will still post a video. I don't know what that video will be. It will probably not be a Neighborhoods episode. Would you want me to make these in different cities, or should I keep it to Pittsburgh for now? I kind of feel like I should keep it to Pittsburgh for now, but up to you. I also just have a desire to mix it up every once in a while and try something a little different. Okay,